What's the most depressing meal you've ever eaten? I bought a discounted cake at the grocery store that had happy anniversary and is still visible in the indentation even though most of the frosting had been scraped off. I got drunk and ate it alone. Doesn't matter, had cake. Christmas Eve I was working late. Broke and tired. I had gas station cheeseburgers and chips that were on sale because they were about to expire. When I called to say hello to my mother, she mentioned how she gave some prime rib to her dog. I kept a tough schedule as a college student, and I remember one night I was working my part-time job in the library. The shift was from 5 to 9 p.m. and I'd had classes all morning and my internship all afternoon. At some point during my shift I realized I hadn't eaten all day and managed to scrounge an old, flattened granola bar from my bag. I couldn't take a break and I wasn't allowed to eat at the desk, so I hid under a bin of DVDs and scarfed down that disgusting, dry oat patty like a feral raccoon enjoying a snack under a dumpster. Not my finest moment or meal. I'm really sorry you had a crappy day, but I'm in stitches thinking of that image. I imagine you squatting and ferociously nibbling at the granola bar, with a manic overbite, squarely looking around for your supervisor. Hope you got to eat well later that night. The last thing my mother ever cooked for me, I ate it almost a week after she died. I didn't want to waste it, but I knew once I ate it, she'd really be gone. The pain never goes away, it just gets smaller and smaller until you can shove it away and it doesn't sit on you anymore. I think this is the most depressing one. You should learn her recipes so you can pass it along to your children. This is what your grandma used to cook. That way she can never truly be gone. It's my birthday today. I am eating a corn dog that I just cooked in the microwave. Alone of course. On my 21st birthday, I'm now 62, had a coupon for a free sundae at Ferrell's. Went there by myself to enjoy my ice cream, but they brought it out in full regalia with happy birthday playing and singing. And now everyone is looking at me sitting all by myself with my scoop of vanilla. Hey, it was free. Sitting with the kids, laughing about their day, encouraging them to eat their dinner so they'll have energy tomorrow. Then after they're in bed eating the leftovers off their plates and filling up on tap water because I didn't have enough money to feed all of us. And I wanted to protect them from knowing that I had failed. The very fact that they ate dinner at night is evidence that you certainly did not fail. You sacrificed for your children. That's exactly what a good parent does. Times can be very, very tough. And when times are that tough, what separates the good parents from the failed ones is who the parents put first. Freshman year of college I had been working on a project for about 12 hours straight. I was physically and mentally exhausted and all I wanted was some food. Made some easy mac and right then my roommate came in after a night out and had brought a girl home. Hurried out of the room and grabbed the only utensil I had, which was a knife. Realized I didn't have my card so I couldn't leave the floor, so I sat on a bench in the bathroom and ate a bowl of easy mac at 3 a.m. with a knife. You loyal. A tortilla topped with ketchup and mustard. Don't judge me. Ketchup and mustard, that's some gourmet crap right there. Dry oatmeal, the Quaker brand that comes in the little brown packets. I couldn't be bothered to heat it up or even add water, so I just ate it out of the packet. Dry Quaker oatmeal was a treasured treat of mine in elementary school, by choice. So were microwaved marshmallows. 24 years old, went to stay with my fiancée and her family for Christmas. She dumps me on Christmas morning cause reasons. I lived about 90 minutes away in another town. Went home, no dog because in kennels for the holidays because I was meant to be away. Flatmates are away, family are all out of town on holiday. Christmas dinner was leftovers from the back of the fridge, alone, not even any booze to numb the pain. Worst meal of my life. I'm sorry, that sounds terrible. I didn't have it, but my dad had a Whopper on T steps of the Lincoln Memorial on Thanksgiving Day because he couldn't attend the nice Thanksgiving dinner because he forgot his blazer. I once talked to this girl online dating for quite a while. She told me to meet her at a pub etc. But she texted that she was running late so had me order for her. So I did, but never showed after I waited with food on the table for about 30 minutes. So I ate her Caesar wrap the next day for lunch at home by myself and never heard from her again. I'll just assume she was hit by a bus, even though my town doesn't have buses. She was probably a 350-pound, hairy, 48 years old dude. Bologna sandwich in jail. My 25th birthday. It was 1977 and the whole country was in the midst of the energy crisis, so that Friday Carter had ordered offices closed and only heated to 35 degrees. Everyone got a day off, but my new boss had a big trial going on in Washington DC and needed me to go into the office long enough to transcribe tapes he was having flown and that a cab driver would deliver from the airport. It was 2 degrees outside and there was a couple feet of snow on the ground, and the bus I took to work, an hour-long trip, had no heat. Only one security guard was in the building when I got there, and I typed the brief as fast as I could when it finally arrived after I'd sat there freezing for 2 hours. All through this, I knew my family was preparing a great dinner for me, so as soon as I was done, things would be nice. Ham, mashed potatoes, cauliflower with cheese sauce and angel food cake. Left the office and the bus back home not only didn't have heat, it had some of the windows stuck open. Shivering all the way home, I dreamed of the great dinner I'd soon have. I got to my mother's and it turned out she and my dad had had a huge fight, and she and my snotty teenage sister had their bags packed and planned on coming home with me. No dinner was cooked or even anticipated. We got carry-out chili and went back to my apartment where my sister fussed about everything, insulted me all evening, and proceeded to remove all my dishes from the cabinets and rewash them because she wasn't sure they were clean enough to suit her. Mother sat and cried. Turned out dad was running around on her, and this was the first of several weekends where he'd pick a fight and storm off on a Friday and stay gone all weekend. Worst birthday ever. I was fed dog food for a while, as a kid. I'm sorry, man. That's awful. Hoping things are better now. Unlimited pancakes at IHOP. I took a bet that I couldn't finish 20 for $150. I started regretting it on number 7-8. New Year's Eve between 2013 and 2014. McDonald's. Eaten by me, my uncle, my parents, and a neighbor in a house with a dying man. My grandfather was dying of end-stage liver cirrhosis, Parkinson's disease, and a blood clot. He was on hospice care in his own home. We couldn't afford a full-time caregiver, so me and my uncle were volunteered to care for him as he died. New Year's rolls around, we share a depressing meal together and try to be of good cheer, but it didn't work. I was an escort, and I would usually get in and out on my way home. I usually felt really dirty sitting in the booth by myself, but the worst time was when I was hired by 2 guys, and after we had intercourse, they went and got me Wendy's, which I proceeded to eat naked at the foot of a dirty motel bed while those 2 creeps stared at me. Hope you're doing better now. One time in college I was returning to my dorm room late at night, and I was really hungry, but I didn't have any cash for the vending machine, nor any means of transportation to the nearest fast food joint. Sure enough, there was a pizza box sitting atop the trash can in the hallway, the box not being big enough for the can. I opened it up and I found 2 entire slices of pepperoni pizza, which I ate then and there. It filled me up, but I felt like a dang hobo. I ate a huge bag of raisins for 3 days because that's all I had. Every Valentine's Day, I order and eat a whole pizza while watching Eternal Sunshine. I hope you spend future Valentine's Days sharing that pizza with someone you love. Thanksgiving at Denny's with my mother, who was getting a divorce. Had the same experience about 11 years ago, however I'm the mother and both of my young children at the time did their best to make me feel loved. I however felt worthless with each bite of turkey. I was invited to Thanksgiving dinner at my brother's house. His wife asked me to bring crescent rolls. I was having a hard time financially that year, and my long-term boyfriend had recently been diagnosed with stage 4 throat cancer. At the time, I had about $3 to my name. I couldn't afford crescent rolls, so I bought 2 packs of Kroger Brown and Serve rolls for $1.99. My sister-in-law was quite visibly annoyed and kept mentioning all day long how much she was craving crescent rolls. Driving back from Disney World, eating a fabulous dinner of fresh shrimp, oysters, and fish overlooking the sun setting on the Panama City Bay, the family of 6 all silently sobbing at the table because we were just told the family dog of 13 years died. We miss you, Maggie, comma. This still bums me out to think about. Freshman year of college, I had a big group of friends for the first time in my life and we did almost everything together. I'd always had friends in life, but never a big group of people. In second semester, I was ghosted by the whole group. Suddenly I was never getting called or messaged to do anything and nobody would ever reply to any calls or texts. At first I thought it was just everyone being busy, but then came that super crappy Friday. I was studying in my room and had my desk under the window. My window faced one of the paths to the dining hall and then I saw my group of friends walking in and laughing together. I was the only one who wasn't invited and it hit me all at once that I was no longer part of the crew. Our dining hall offered a to-go option and I opted for it that night. Sitting in my dorm room alone on a Friday night eating cup noodles and realizing I no longer had my group of friends was by far the most depressing meal I've ever had. I think it's because at the time, I was hanging out with people from my classes instead of only them, which apparently wasn't okay. They suck. Hope you have real friends now. A sad potato smiley. Ran out of food in my apartment and didn't feel like going shopping since it was 1 AM. Found taco shells which I promptly heated in the oven, then topped them with peanut butter. Ate a $5 pizza at 10:30 at night in the floor of an empty room that had earlier been a bedroom. We were sitting on cot mattresses and it was the last night we had in the house before we had to be out. It was the day after Christmas. During basic training in the army we were doing our first week under full field conditions. To get our food we had to sneak up to a position and steal our combat rations. The combat rations in the IDF are pretty crappy, but there were some dried fruit pieces and olives and stuff that could be pleasant. The only truly gross thing that no one would eat was the canned meat. We stole our food and got ready to eat when we noticed the box had been tampered with. Our sergeant had gone and pulled everything out except the canned meat. I put ketchup and mustard on a hot dog bun and ate it with no hot dog once. It's like the last bite but for the whole thing. The last lasagna made by my stepmom. She was adorable, sweet and always treated me like one of her own, always making sure I had enough food. Since I lived 2 cities away, their house was too small, and my dad spent half the time there, half the time at my house when I was a teen, since it would take him 3 hours to get to work from mine, versus hers, 20 minutes. She died on a drive-by shootout. On a night I was supposed to go join them for dinner. I gave them a maybe, and ended up spending the night at my boyfriend's, ignoring my phone lighting up because we were shagging, and when done, went for the phone, got the news and in shock, just walked out to the living room, totally naked, where my, then, boyfriend's roommate and his date were watching a movie. In the middle of the night, went for the bathroom and took a cold shower, to get ready to handle everything, completely oblivious of the fact that I just flashed them both when I walked by. I was super depressed and ate an entire box of off-brand mac and cheese raw with nothing but a cool glass of water and a steady flow of tears to wash it down. Good times. Hot chocolate powder from the packet scooped out with a spoon. Thanksgiving dinner alone in a Waffle House 2,000 miles away from my family. When you're alone on Thanksgiving, Waffle House is your family. I remember how we got our first microwave when I was little. I was so excited, because I loved melted cheese on top a piece of bread. Well, we did not have any bread that day and for some reason I didn't even use a plate, but I just put a slice of cheese inside the microwave and used a knife to get the cheese out and ate it. 9/10 would recommend. When I ordered awesome udon noodles like 5 minutes before the "it's not you, it's me" speech began. I went camping and woke up extremely hungover one morning. I was starving but really didn't want to try and cook anything, so I settled for canned chicken breast and crackers. It was terrible. The smell of the chicken juice should have been my first warning. My wife doesn't like Famous Dave's and she was gone one weekend, so know what I got. Famous Dave's. I sat waiting game for my barbecue goodness to take home, talking to the person about how I never get it and all. I get home and dig in and it was just meh. So disappointed and let down. Tortilla wrap with Kraft singles. Threw in uncooked ramen noodles for the crunch factor. My poor man's equivalent to the crispy chicken wraps that pretty much every restaurant does now. Except, it had no chicken. Just chicken flavoring from the noodles. I actually kinda want to try this with good cheese now. Christmas in New York City. Too broke, not enough vacation to travel, and no friends in the city yet. The holiday consisted of a couple days worth of Little Caesars and whiskey. Canned tuna mixed with mayo packets from some fast food place and sriracha on saltine crackers. I actually like it and I don't eat it because I'm poor. But after I told my mom that's what I was eating during a phone call, all the presents I get for birthdays and Christmas is food related. Well, I guess I don't mind, and I still have a crap load of Pepperidge Farm sausages and cheeses she sent me for Christmas. When I was a kid, we had Thanksgiving dinner in the hospital cafeteria where my dad was working late. I was one sad little camper. Every last one of my meal this week. I'm usually pretty proud about the way I eat. I like to plan my meals and I take pleasure and pride when I come out of the grocery store with a nice variety of healthy and fresh products. But this week I'm poor because my job was closed during the holidays, and after 2 weeks without pay, the first pay I got was for only 1 week of work. So I've been eating like a college student again, and it is super depressing. A McDonald's salad. I had a rice sandwich once. I was super poor but didn't want to ask my family for help because it was the first time I moved out. Really hit me hard that I fell that low. Much better today. Up to the cheapest meat and some hot sauce. A salad. I had to lose a few pounds and I didn't know yet that dieting is focused more on eating the right food and in regulation, and that it did not mean starvation and depriving myself of the good stuff. I sat there chewing my greens, feeling like a miserable cow grazing alone in a pasture. You have been visited by the IT lizard. Upvote or experience bad internet for a month. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.